ورجل باع حرا فأكل ثمنه ورجل استأجر أجيرا فاستوفى منه ولم يعطه أجره. رواه البخاري وكذلك ابن ماجه وأحمد.
Hadith 21. On the authority of Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, from the Prophet, may the blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, who said that Allah the Almighty said, "There are three whose adversary I shall be on the day of resurrection. A man who has given his word by me and has broken it. A man who has sold a free man and has consumed the price. And a man who has hired a workman, has exacted his due in full from him and has not given him his wage." It was related by Al-Bukhari, also by Ibn Majah and Ahmad ibn Hanbal.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salam Radio.
And this is Community Matters, the radio show for all communities across Peterborough and beyond, with me, Adrian Holdstock. Our Community Matters radio show asks questions that matter to community life. Tonight we have some great guests joining me in the studio to talk about, first of all, how we care for the world and make it a great place for us to live in. And in the second half of the show, how we celebrate our life in this world. My first guest is Joe Hostead. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joe is co-founder of the People Project, a community organisation that helps people help people. And from your website, thepeopleproject.org.uk, I see that you strive to educate the world on global problems and promote practical solutions that are working towards solving them. That's a pretty big task.
It is, but I think it's necessary. I think it's something that we all need to think about. It's something we all need to try and incorporate into our daily lives. Mm-hmm. And it's just very topical, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we had Extinction Rebellion on here a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we were talking about climate change and care for the environment.
Yeah.
But how can we incorporate these things into our everyday living?
Well, it's simple things. I mean, especially with the stuff that Extinction Rebellion are protesting against. It's energy. Mm-hmm. It's simple things like switching off a light switch. Mm-hmm. You know, not filling up the kettle. Just every time you make that decision, we combat climate change. Mm-hmm. So it's you know, using less water, eating less meat is a big one. Mm-hmm. So going vegan can dramatically help the environment. It's practically every decision you make actually has an impact on the planet. Mm. So it's just being conscious, I think, of what you're doing with every decision.
And I think what you're calling this is sustainable development.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? So
sustainable development is development in the terms of moving forward. And in a sustainable way, which there's a great quote. I can't quite remember it word for word, but it's I might have it written down here somewhere. Development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, which just sums it up perfectly. So for an example, plastic. You know, plastic is just polluting our seas. It's, you know, it's broken down so much now that it's in our food. It's a huge problem. Not so much for us right now, but it will be for future generations to come. So although there's times when plastic is necessary, like in the medical industry, things like that, it's things like I've seen pictures of bananas and oranges that have been peeled and then they've been wrapped up in plastic just to make our daily lives more convenient. So sustainable development is scaling back all that single-use plastic. Everything that we're doing now to make our lives more convenient is having a knock-on effect for future generations. So sustainable development is reducing the damage we're doing to the planet right now in order to help future generations.
So leave something for our children and further on.
Yeah, and it's just, again, it's being conscious of our actions and taking responsibility.
There's that catchphrase, I forget which supermarket it comes from, but every little helps.
Oh, yeah, that was Asda maybe? That was... and that's true, that's exactly right. Every little helps, every decision you make, we need to be aware of the implications that they have. So plastic is one example. But then, it's sustainable development for me is incredibly exciting, because I was just yesterday doing some DIY, and I opened up this box, this flat pack furniture, and it was in plastic, and there was all sorts in there. But even now, those large companies have started to come up with a sustainable way of making this packaging, and they're experimenting with mushroom packaging, making from mushrooms and other fungus. And I saw a post the other day online about Italy now are using pasta as straws. Yeah, and that's what I mean by it's exciting. It's innovative. It's using our brains.
Yeah.
It's the problem with plastic is, at one point it was revolutionary and everybody was excited about it, but they didn't know, or maybe some people knew, maybe it wasn't advertised as much as it should be, the problem it was going to have. But now we're in a time where it's exciting for us to think of new ways of combating these problems. And I saw another post the other day. Someone is creating a form of plastic from seaweed and other things that completely degrades in however long. So it's exciting that there are things happening, lots of people working towards them. We just need to know about it.
Now, the United Nations, no less, have promoted the concept of sustainable development goals.
Yes.
And they, in turn, came out of something that happened at the millennium in the year 2000.
Yes.
The Millennium Development Goals.
Yes.
And I remember, I'm old enough to remember back then, that there were 8 Millennium Development Goals.
Yeah.
That were set for governments around the world to try and achieve.
Yeah.
And I think we can be suspicious and even cynical about whether governments are actually going to live up to those sorts of ambitious, all-embracing goals.
Yeah.
And the arguments are still going on about climate change and the Paris Accord and whether people are withdrawing from that, as America have done.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you get short-termism, and politics and economics stand in the way of real progress. But I looked up what happened with those 8 Millennium Development Goals.
Yeah.
And I found that the report, because they were set in 2000 to be delivered by 2015.
Yeah.
And this is what the world managed to achieve. Since 1990, the number of people living in extreme poverty has declined by more than half.
Wow.
The proportion of undernourished people in the developing regions has fallen by almost a half.
Mm-hmm.
The primary school enrolment rate in developing regions has reached 91%, and many more girls are now in school compared to 15 years ago. Remarkable gains have also been made in the fight against HIV/AIDS and malaria and tuberculosis.
Wow.
These are all part of the 8 development goals. The under 5 mortality rate has declined by more than half, and maternity mortality is down 45% worldwide. I mean, that's fantastic. Think the poor situations of families having baby after baby that and half of them would be dying before they were 5.
Yeah.
Or the mothers dying. And then the one that's close to my heart, because I used to work in the water industry, was the target of halving the proportion of people who lack access to improved sources of water was also met.
Wow.
Well, that's tremendous.
Yeah.
And well done, the governments of the world.
Yeah.
And the people of the world.
Absolutely.
So we now have 17 sustainable development goals.
Yes, exactly. Based on the data that they gathered from those goals, the Millennium Goals. We now have 17 global goals, and each goal breaks down into between 4 and 6 targets, I think, for each one. So let's take, for example, the first goal, no poverty. It's a huge goal. It's very ambitious. They're all very ambitious, but the goal is no poverty. That doesn't mean that we're looking to end poverty by 2030, because that's unachievable. But we are looking to eradicate extreme poverty, which I think is it's people living on less than $1.95 a day, something like that. That's kind of how we're measuring that. So that can be achieved. We can eradicate extreme poverty because of what we achieved with the Millennium Goals. One of those was, I think the first one again was ending poverty, and they met those targets, as you've just read. They did meet their target on that, and based on that data, they've devised, or they've looked again at that goal, and they've created new targets. So each goal, it has its targets, and that's what we're aiming towards. But it's also a value. Each goal is a value. No poverty, zero hunger. We don't want people in poverty. We don't want people going hungry. Another, clean water and sanitation. The two go hand in hand. It's, we were talking, weren't we, last week about it being a human right? Yeah. Only recently, in the last, how many years was it?
Well, I think it was when the Millennium Development Goals came out.
Right, that's when
the United Nations recognised access to clean, safe drinking water was a human right. Yeah. And before then, for 20 centuries, since the year naught, it's not been a human right. But that's what these goals are uncovering, is the more we look into them, the more we think, there's people in the world that don't have the opportunity to live the standard of life that we have. So each goal has a name, it has a goal, it has its set of targets that we want to achieve. But what's really important is that each one carries a value. And it's those values that we're really trying to push. We want people to recognise that these are global problems, and poverty isn't just an African problem, an Asian problem. It's not. It's extreme in those places, but even here in Peterborough, you see poverty everywhere we go. So these global issues, we're looking to localise the Sustainable Development Goals. So how do we approach it here in our city, in our region, and then we want to know how do we approach it on a national and a global scale. So we need to first explore the values of these goals, and then once we've done that, we can start looking about how we can help people overseas and things like that. Well, I'm glad you've explained it that way, because I'm thinking global poverty, and especially extreme poverty. How can I help from relatively affluent Western society in Britain? Other than giving money to charities and hoping that money filters down to where it's needed. But it strikes me that this isn't about the giving of money.
No.
It's about the idea of, you don't catch a fish for somebody, you teach somebody to fish so they can develop their own economy.
It's exactly that. It's education. People need to understand why people are in poverty. What's put them there? There's something. It's something like you're only ever 5 steps away from being on the street. You lose your job, you lose your family, you lose your home, you lose and that's it. Then you're something like that. So it's actually a lot closer than people struggle to identify with people living on the street, but they. How they've got there, the story of how they've got there is actually very interesting, and something I think we need to explore more and people need to know about, because we make judgments, and just the word poverty in itself, people don't fully understand it. It's quite difficult to explain sometimes. So that's something we need to explore, is why are people in poverty? And then going back to, it's very small changes that we make every day to help those people. I mean, the easiest thing you can do is have a walk around your house, think, what don't you absolutely need? and then give it to charity, give it to a charity shop, who then they can raise money, and they can go on to do these things. But there's lots of organisations in Peterborough working to combat poverty. So yes.
I mean, Food Bank is one of those.
Yeah.
There's a Food Bank outlet at St Mark's Church on a Wednesday.
Okay.
And we've seen week by week and year by year an increasing number of people in need of Food Bank support.
Right, okay.
Now, for people to contribute to Food Bank, that's a very simple thing, because a packet, a tin, some cleaning materials or personal hygiene materials.
Yeah.
If they're buying 2 or 3 of something, they can manage to afford just one more item.
Yeah.
Donate it to Food Bank.
Yeah.
And that is managed very well by the volunteer team.
Yeah.
To see that it gets into the right hands.
Yeah, fantastic. I actually work at an organisation called Food Cycle on a Monday, which is a similar thing of we have drivers who collect surplus food from supermarkets and local farms, and they bring it into us, and we sort through it. We make up street bags. We get something like 60 street bags to give away to people on the street. But we get 3 courses out of the food, and we can feed up to 80 people on a Monday, and that's kind of the next step. It's, you can empty your pantry of things, you can give it away. Then the next step is getting involved in something like that, and it's about finding what works for you. How can you get involved? We're working on some information sheets and data to put on our website to make that process easier for people, so they can just log on and they can kind of have a browse at where they are. I know the United Nations they released a document, 170 things I can do, and that's for each goal, I think, and that's what can I do from my living room chair, what can I do from my home, from my office, from getting involved with people in my community. So that does scale up, but we're trying to focus on people in Peterborough. What can we do here collectively, individually as communities, collectively as a city, things like that. So it's finding what you want to, what works for you, and what works, for the aims of the charities.
So there's something about our attitudes and behaviours to the resources that we have. So you mentioned earlier about switching off light switches, maybe turning down the heating, not filling the kettle when you only need to boil a quarter of a kettle. All of which will contribute in a very small way. And you almost think, need I bother? I can afford the energy bill. Why should I bother? But then it's, if everyone can be bothered and can contribute, I imagine all of that will add up.
Exactly. And the thing with the global goals is that it takes participation from everybody, every single person on the planet, to make it a success. There are pressures, obviously, on large organisations to reduce the amount of pollution they're doing, and for government to work closely with each other to help the people in poverty, all of these sorts of things. So they have large pressures at the top, but then it does filter down right to us. And if everybody is working together, we will achieve these goals. There was a quote I saw about plastic bags. Someone said, what difference does it make? What difference can I make refusing a single plastic bag? Said 8 billion people, something like that. So if everybody had that attitude, then that's how that would go. But if we all refused it, it's been proven, hasn't it? When collectively we refuse these things, we individually make these changes, it reduces the demand, and then the governments, these companies, they have to bring in measures to comply with us, what we're saying, the people.
I think that there's a real psychology about this, because what you're trying to do is change people's habits. So the habit of going to the supermarket without a shopping bag, to buy stuff that they load into a plastic bag that advertises their supermarket, and they give it to you for free. Now that habit's been broken just by the government imposing a tax and saying any supermarket selling a plastic bag must sell it to 10 pence.
Yeah.
10 pence would be nothing to me, but just the thought of, why should I pay another 10 pence for another bag when I can bring a reusable?
Yeah. It's I read a study in a university when they were given a discount, given 20% off or something for people who brought their own cups, and nobody was doing it. Everybody was just everybody left their cups at home, so they brought the price of the drinks down 20%, and they started charging people to use one of their takeaway cups, and suddenly everybody was going, oh no, I'm not paying extra for my cup, and it just plummeted. And then suddenly they were selling next to no takeaway cups. It was fantastic, but it's like you say, it's the psychology of it.
So the People Project is your local focus on how we can contribute from Peterborough.
Yes, it is. So on our website, we've listed goal by goal the organisations in the area who are working towards these goals. So we're encouraging people to go on and have a look at the goals, because you don't have to. It's a huge concept, these global goals. We're not asking people to go and commit to every single goal. It's just choose one that's relevant to you, or one that you know, if you want to make a difference in the world, you just have a look, and I'm sure you'll find something you enjoy. Life on land is one. Life below water. If you love animals, it's a perfect place to start. And life in land as well is forests and nature. It's everything. Life on land. So we're encouraging people to go on and browse the website. First of all, look at the goals. There's links on each goal to the UN page that they'll give you much more information. Our website is just a list of resources. So we're working on an apps page as well, which I think is currently live for Android, but not yet for iPhone. That should be coming in the next couple of weeks. But again, that's useful apps. So if you go on, you find your goal, and then you click on the apps, there's a list of apps there that you can download just to again make it even easier for you. So yes, we're encouraging people to look at what difference they can make, find out about the global goals, and see just how they can make a difference here in Peterborough today.
Wow. Got any examples of what people have been doing and making a success of?
Well, one of the huge things that we're part of is the idea of eco bricks, which is a plastic bottle, kind of usually a 2 litre, but it can be any bottle, and all your single-use plastics that you can't recycle, just wash them or dry them. Usually they're clean anyway, but things like crisp packets, and although you can recycle crisp packets now, little just things that sweets coming, wash them, dry them, and you stuff them in the bottle, and you get a stick and you pat it down, and by the time you've got this full bottle of single-use plastic, it's quite heavy, and then people are using them all over the world to build with. So I mean the most simple design is just a circle of them that get strapped together, and then they get upholstered, or you just put something on the top, and it could be used as a table or a stool. But I've seen people have built entire buildings from them. So that's one simple way of making a difference. It's these innovative ways of combating some of these global problems.
So in the last couple of minutes that we have, how can people find out more and make a commitment to do something or try something out? So
our website is thepeopleproject.org.uk, and you can go on there and find out the organisations in your area. There's also a national and an overseas, so if you would like to go further afield, you can browse those two categories as well, and also just Google global goals, and you'll find an abundance of resources.
Oh, wow. And the 170 ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And the world's largest lesson is a bank of lesson plans and all sorts. There's loads going on. It's a global movement. We're just trying to bring it here to everybody so everybody knows about it.
Do you know, in in the new year, everyone makes what they call a New Year's resolution. And it's usually something personal like taking up exercise or stopping eating chocolate or something like that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if everyone tried out one of these development goals?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. There's an app as well, which makes it again even easier. It's SDG in Action, and you can download the app and you can browse there the goals, the targets. They've got videos and things that make it a bit more interactive, a bit more, visually exciting. There is an abundance online.
Is there a Facebook page?
Yes, there is. We've got a Facebook page, and we're on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and we are constantly posting posts relevant to the goals. So, for example, a couple of weeks ago, we were promoting insect hotels, which are usually stacks of pallets with straw and bamboo and bricks and everything that bugs love to live in. We found a link to the RSPB, who have got a brilliant guide on it, and we've posted that. And of course, there's news all over the world of ways that people are getting involved. So, we're constantly posting.
Well, we've got Facebook on Salam Radio, and we'll make a link so that we can, the People Project.
Yeah, it's all our social media links are at the bottom of our website.
Wonderful.
So that's an easy place to grab them.
Great. Joe, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a fascinating topic, and I would love you to come back and tell us how you're developing these goals and how the people of Peterborough are taking up the challenge.
Perfect. Yes, I'd love to. Thank you.
Wonderful. So, a big thank you to Joe Hostead from the People Project, helping us to get involved in sustainable development, everyone making a difference and having fun and building a world for everyone to enjoy in this generation, but leaving that world for future generations as well. Do stay tuned for a second half of our show coming up after the ad breaks.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
There's a million choices available for dining out in Leeds.
But if you want something special, there's only one name to remember.
Mumtaz Leeds.
Relax in our newly refurbished Riverside restaurant.
Enjoy exquisite home cooking from our brand new menu. Upgrade to the Mumtaz Leeds experience.
And the price? Well, we're better value than ever before.
Mumtaz Leeds, Chadwick Street, Leeds, LS10 1PJ. Call 0113 242 4211.
Free car parking available.
कोई रत्तियां कमीज़ानी लमाना मारे मामा मिठिया में चीज़ानी।
मेरा नाम मुकद्दस है और कोर्ट मेरा घर है और ये मेरे लिए किसी जन्नत से कम नहीं। हमारे भी कुछ ख्वाब हैं जिनकी ताबीर को हमें पाना है।
आइए इन बच्चों के ताबनाक मुस्तकबिल के लिए अपना हिस्सा डालिए। अपनी ज़कात, सदकात, खैरात और इमदाद कोर्ट को दीजिए।
UK number 0300 123 7774. Website court.org.uk.
Al-Murad Tiles. With over 70 stores nationwide, we are now open in Peterborough. Up to 50% discount offers now on. Largest selection of tiles. Full bathroom suites from only £189. Paint, LED lighting, laminate flooring from only £7.99. Over 1,000 designs of wallpaper in stock. We have everything you need. Come and visit us at 193 Fengate, Peterborough, PE1 5BH, or call us on 01733 34 58 47. Al-Murad Tiles, now open.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 0374. High in quality, low in prices.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: من يحرم الرفق يحرم الخير. That whoever is deprived of gentleness is deprived of good.
عن أبي مسعود عقبة بن عمرو الأنصاري البدري رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إن مما أدرك الناس من كلام النبوة الأولى إذا لم تستح فاصنع ما شئت.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salam Radio.
Yes, indeed, Salam Radio.
It is written, so don't you let it bring you down.
Indeed, this is Salam Radio. We're live again on 106.2 FM and online at salamradio.co.uk. This is Adrian Holdstock presenting Community Matters, the radio show for all communities in Peterborough and beyond. And we've got a couple of topics this second half of the show. And first of all, joining me in the studio is Aparna Aravind from the Peterborough Hindu community. Welcome, Aparna.
Hello.
Hello. Now, Aparna, you're from India and have been in the UK for 13 years. Have you always lived in Peterborough?
I was up in Leeds for a year and then I moved to Peterborough.
Ah, gosh. Okay.
Didn't really fancy the change in the beginning, but I've grown to love Peterborough now.
So what brought you to England and then what brought you to Peterborough?
Well, I got married.
Aha, good.
And
yes.
My husband was working here in the UK. And that's how I ended up here.
Okay, yeah. And you moved with him here to Peterborough?
Yes,
then?
When he moved for work, I moved with him.
Okay, yeah. Now, you're very active in the Hindu temple and you volunteer to help school visits and giving talks and presentations on Hinduism.
Oh, yes, that's something I really enjoy.
Yeah.
We have a bustling Hindu community here in Peterborough. And we have a mandir. And that's, very busy. And especially this time of the year with Navratri and now more festivals coming up.
Indeed.
It's a busy time of the year for us.
Somebody once told me that there is never a week goes by when there isn't a Hindu festival.
Absolutely. In fact, we make maximum use of our Hindu, of our outfits, the saris. There's never a time when we don't need them. In fact, we're always dressing up for some event or the other.
So now this is the time of year when we celebrate Diwali. And I remember in Leicester, Diwali is an enormous festival because the whole of the Belgrave Road is closed to traffic.
Yes, the Golden Mile.
Yes, indeed. They reckon something like 1 million people out on the streets worshipping, enjoying, celebrating. And because it's a festival of lights and it falls in the beginning of winter, Leicester has a tradition that the lights just stay on for Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Save the time, isn't it? But I'm not surprised because Diwali is the most important of the multitude of Hindu festivals that dot the calendar. And as a kid, I always waited for Diwali.
So can you tell us more, those of us like me who don't really understand Diwali and where it comes from and what it means and its significance?
Well, Diwali is celebrated by a number of communities, not just the Hindu community. And India being such a big, varied country, both in terms of population and land-wise, Diwali is celebrated for different reasons. But one of the main reasons, like in the North India, it's the homecoming of Lord Sri Ram, who vanquished the 10-headed demon Ravana and then returned victorious to Ayodhya. So his homecoming is celebrated, the victory of right over wrong, and people light rows of lamps. So Deepavali or Diwali, the literal meaning is actually a row of lamps, of oil lamps that people light.
Right.
And then, it's celebrated in the south of India because Lord Krishna, one of the main gods of Hinduism, he vanquished the demon Narakasura and redeemed the 16,000 women held captive by him. So then that is celebrated. That's one of the reasons Diwali is celebrated in the south of India. Then there is the Gujaratis celebrate the Annakut, which is the lifting of the Govardhan hill by Lord Krishna, and that is their New Year as well. So you'll have you have people celebrating Diwali for different reasons, but the theme, the central theme, is the victory of good over evil.
Yeah. And is it also a Sikh festival?
It is also a Sikh festival.
Yes.
I think one of their gurus, when they emerged victorious over the invaders at that time, so the Sikhs celebrated for that reason. The Jains celebrated because they think that is the time when Mahavir, their preceptor, attained salvation. So and the Bengali Hindus celebrate by worshipping Mother Kali, which is one of their most celebrated deities.
And these celebrations, are they all different from different groups of people, or is there some common theme? I mentioned the Festival of Lights.
It is. That definitely is a common theme, the lighting of the lamps, and then the fireworks as well, the wearing of new clothes and sweets, which is a common theme for all Hindu festivals. And the fireworks is a big thing, because as you would have seen in Leicester as part of their Diwali festival as well, there's a huge firework fiesta.
Yeah.
And interestingly, it coincides with it's around the same time as the Guy Fawkes Day that's celebrated here as well. So,
which has a rather more sinister history to it.
Exactly, yeah. But it's an interesting feature that they come at the same time, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And in Peterborough, how has Diwali been celebrated?
Peterborough is now celebrating Diwali in a big way.
Right. Okay.
Especially with the council helping us take it out on the streets in the city centre. So we had the Diwali festival last Saturday, which drew in big crowds.
Right.
A lot of stalls with Indian food, the stage with programs, cultural programs, events lasting throughout the day. So we had a really successful event this year.
Oh, wow, fantastic. And does Diwali go on for a number of days?
It does. It typically lasts 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
It starts with something called Dhanteras, where people clean their homes and get ready for the next few days of festivities. The second day is the Naraka Chaturdasi. Diwali, the actual day, is actually the new moon day, the darkest night of the year. So that's when the actual day of Diwali, and the Lakshmi Puja. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth. She's the harbinger of auspiciousness and wealth and good fortune. So Lakshmi is worshipped on the third day, which is the Amavasya, the new moon day. Then it goes on to the Annakut, or the Govardhan Puja, when the Gujaratis celebrate the New Year, and a mountain of food is made, and then everybody feasts and enjoys. And then it moves on to Bhai Dooj, where everybody, typically in Hindu families of yore, the lady got married and lived with her husband and his parents. So this was the day, the Bhai Dooj day, when she goes to meet her parents and her brothers, and then it's a sister-brother exchange of gifts.
Gosh.
Yes.
Right.
So.
Fantastic.
It lasts 4 or 5 days.
Yes.
The festivities.
Yeah. And you just got time to get over that before Christmas.
Yes. It's fun, isn't it? We have the best of both worlds.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Aparna. Do stay with us if you can. But I'd like to bring into the conversation Julie Blake. Welcome, Julie. Now, Julie, I understand your daughter goes to Ken Stimpson Community School in Warrington.
Yeah.
And she's involved in the Performing Arts Department, and is also a member of their choir and a cappella group.
Yeah.
That's something quite, to be quite brave about, to be able to sing unaccompanied like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so that must make you a very proud mum.
Very proud.
Now, I understand the choir and the a cappella group needs money to get to Disneyland Paris
next year.
July next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that for? What are they trying to get over there for?
Excuse me. Every year, Disney, thousands and thousands of people audition to go to sing in Disneyland Paris. Thousands of choirs, orchestras, performers, and Disney choose just a couple of hundred that they select that they can go sing in or perform in the main arena.
Oh, I see. Right.
Our girls, excuse me, our choir and a cappella are lucky enough to have been twice already. They went in 2016 and 2018, and Disney got in touch with Mr. Robin Norman, who is the head of the performing arts and also the music teacher, and asked if they would like to audition again to go next year.
Oh, wonderful.
And they've been given 2 slots, which is amazing because that really doesn't happen very often.
Gosh. So that's been agreed?
It has, yeah. It's all agreed, yeah. It's going to cost around about £15,000 to get the children there.
Gosh.
And of course, the school can't subsidise that sort of money, so it's down to the parents to get them there. So we've come up with this brilliant fundraising idea.
A brilliant fundraising idea indeed. Ken Stimpson Community Cinema.
Excellent. It's going to be brilliant.
What is that?
It's basically, Ken Stimpson are very aware of the community in their name, and they're also always trying to think of initiatives to get the community involved in the school. And who doesn't love going to see a big movie on a big screen? The drive-ins are always really popular when they do those around Peterborough. And so Robin decided that we would do a community cinema once a month with some big shows and invite the community along to come and watch.
Okay. So is that going to be in like the school hall or something?
Yes, it'll be in the school assembly hall. They're going to do them on a Friday evening, 6 o'clock. Doors open at 5:30.
Right.
And basically, I'm going to have a big screen in there. The hall holds 150 people.
Okay.
So everybody's welcome to come along. And we've got some brilliant shows coming up. We've got some, check my notes. We've got The Greatest Showman is our first one. We kick that off on the 15th of November, and that's a sing-along version. So people can come along, sing, dance in the aisles, have some popcorn. The second one we're doing, these are the 3 dates we've got confirmed. The second one we will be doing on the 13th of November, which is going to be Elf. Another feel-good song, a feel-good movie for the Christmas period. And that is also going to be subtitled as well, so the hard of hearing and the deaf can experience a big screen movie as well, because we got asked about that on our Facebook page, and we thought it was quite important to try and include everybody.
So that's 13th of December.
That's 13th of,
Yeah,
it's the 15th of November for The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
And then 13th of December for Elf. And then on the 7th of February, we will be doing Grease sing-along, and that's going to be a sing-along version as well, where people can come in and sing and just forget the worries for a couple of hours and just do a feel-good movie.
Wow. Has the school ever done anything like this
Nothing
before?
like this before, no. Mr. Norman has worked his socks off to get the approval for this, and the fundraising team that helped for the Disney are going to be there helping him out. So all the proceeds will go to the Disney fundraising fund, and then after Disney is over, the Ken Stimpson still want to carry that on. I think it's really, really important to get the community together.
Surely, yeah. And tickets are on sale?
Oh yes, tickets. You can buy tickets in advance at www.ticketmaster.co.uk/Ken Stimpson. And you can also buy on the night if you just fancy turning up.
And very modest prices, I think.
Oh yes, definitely. £4.50 for an adult, £3 for a child, and I think it's £15 for a family of 4. That's 2 adults, 2 children. Which you think, how much going to the Showcase Cinema in Peterborough? That would be a normal price ticket for an adult is about £15, I think now.
But I doubt you'd get these films at the Showcase.
We are going to do current films. Obviously, we can't show anything that's being shown at the cinema at the moment, but they're all going to be current films. I mean, we are talking maybe The Lion King next year, and that's only just been out of the cinemas. Judy, that's just been out of the cinemas. We wanted to start it off with feel-good ones. So The Greatest Showman is a big hit at the moment still. People love the music, so we thought that would be good. And I think everybody loves Elf at Christmas. That's a really good feel-good Christmas movie.
And when you're with other people who want to get into that mood and join in the singing, great songs.
Oh, it's going to be a brilliant atmosphere.
Yes.
You know, it really will.
Yeah.
I mean, people might feel a little bit intimidated at first, but the group of Disney mums, which we call ourselves, who are the fundraising committee, we will be up there dancing and singing. So we want it to be a really feel-good evening.
So for people to find out more, you've mentioned Ticketmaster for buying tickets online, or you can turn up on the day and buy a ticket. But I think there's a Facebook page as well.
There is. Ken Stimpson do have their own Facebook page, which is Ken Stimpson Community School Performing Arts page. If you look on Facebook on there, Mr. Norman puts lots of information, and all the dates and information will be on there about all the upcoming things that the choir and the a cappella groups are doing, and all the Disney fundraising ideas that'll be up there as well.
And if we're not sure where Ken Stimpson's school is,
we're based in Warrington.
Okay.
Tesco's at Warrington, up near the Warrington Library. But all communities, Ken Stimpson is a multicultural school, so all communities are welcome, not just the local area.
That's really good to know.
Yeah, and we really want them to come because we really think it would be good to get all communities together.
Now let's come back for a moment to the point of all this, and that is to get the young people to perform in public in a very prestigious place, Disney World Paris. What's that going to do for them?
Oh, my daughter has gone from, when she first started in the performing arts, and especially the choir, she's gone from a person who would love to sing, but if she wanted to perform, she'd hide behind the sofa and sing, so you couldn't see her. Going to Disney in 2016 totally changed her. You know, she just loves it. She loves performing. She's chomping at the bit to get solos so she can sing on stage. And it's just, they're so proud of what they do, and they put so much work and commitment into the choirs and the performing arts department that to represent Ken Stimpson at Disney, they're really proud to do it.
Well, that's wonderful.
It's a magical experience for them. It really does change them. And a few of the parents are going this year to support them, because we'd love to see them sing on that big stage.
And this is something about the breadth of our education system in this country, that it's not only about reading and writing and science, it's about the creative arts and building a sense of confidence in being a good citizen.
Yeah, and especially in the performing arts department, they're just a family. They all, you know, they all get on, they're all there for each other. The choir and a cappella, you know, they just love performing, and they are known locally as the best choir, best school choir in Peterborough. They've won numerous awards. They've won the Peterborough Music Festival 5 times on the trot. It's amazing. They are amazing children.
Yeah.
So they are so proud to be representing Ken Stimpson at Disney.
Oh, fantastic. Can I come back to Aparna for a moment? Because I understand you teach and practice Indian classical music.
Oh, yes, I do, a little bit.
What do you think of this idea of getting these young people across to Disney to perform?
It sounds wonderful. In fact, I've made a mental note of the dates, and I think I'm going to be there for the Greatest Showman. Yes, it's a wonderful opportunity. Singing and dancing is something that makes you feel good. And feeling good is in the stresses of the modern world. I think that's something that really rouses one's spirits. And when it's done with everybody else, the more the merrier. And it's a wonderful way of connecting with each other as well. And yes, we do a lot of singing and dancing as part of our festivals. The Navratri, or the 9 nights, which recently concluded, which is about 2 weeks before Diwali. So we hire the cresset and we dance way into the night for 9 nights. And it's a wonderful event.
Gosh.
And Diwali is similar. And so, no festival is complete without the singing and dancing. The singing more so, because we sing a lot of hymns and songs as part of our, daily worship as well. And maybe Diwali more towards Lord Ram, because we celebrate his homecoming.
And do you teach musical instruments or singing?
Well, a lot of Indian classical music is vocal based because we've got words and they're hymns, so the words matter.
Okay.
That's not to say that we don't practice instruments. The violin, for instance, it's a Western instrument, but it's been adapted beautifully to the Indian classical music. And the percussion, we have these huge drums that we use. The veena, which is a string instrument. So we use a number of instruments. And yes, I had a session with the kids this morning, and we are going to perform at the Cathedral for the UN event on the 5th of November.
Right, sure.
Really excited.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I hope you don't get drowned out by fireworks.
Just
no, we won't.
Sing
We're loud enough. Yeah.
Loud and proud.
Yes, indeed. I'm wondering how you could tie these two ideas together: a choir, an a cappella group, Hindu singing.
That'd be amazing.
It would.
It would be absolutely amazing.
I tell you, the first time I came to visit your temple, your Mandir, isn't it called? It was lunchtime or near lunchtime, and there were a group of older ladies.
Yes.
They were singing their hearts out for it went on for quite a long time. It must be quite good exercise for them.
Absolutely. They do it every Tuesday. I'm there typically every Tuesday afternoons, and I love their singing.
Yeah.
It's the sound of that which kind of comforts me, because it takes me back to when I was a child and my grandmother would do that. So it's a very comforting feeling, the sound of those familiar bhajans, as we call them, or hymns. Yeah. Sometimes they're just accompanied with the clapping of the hands, and that's enough to get you going.
Yeah, I do agree. Singing is wonderful. I'm part of the Ken Stimpson Community Family Choir as well. We sing once a week. And it is just, if you don't even feel like you think, oh, I can't be bothered, you go an hour of singing. It's just feel good. It really is good for the soul.
You can't think of anything else when you're singing. You just have to focus
concentrate on what you're doing.
What you're doing.
Yeah,
yes.
That's why these sing-alongs are going to be so good. You just forget the worries that are going on in the world. Just come for a couple of hours. Just forget everything else and just have a good time. It's going to be an amazing feel-good vibe in there. We hope.
Yeah. Now, Aparna, you welcome and explain to children and young people who visit the Mandir all about Hindu worship and practices and festivals. I wonder if the Ken Stimpson School have ever been.
I think they have. I mean, I'm not part of the Ken Stimpson School. I am just part of the fundraising, but I'm sure they have been. I remember when my daughter was in primary school, she did lots of visits to the mosque and things. But I'm thinking about getting the both communities together. That would be great. I will speak to Mr. Norman about it. I think that's something that they would be very interested in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. To experience something of each of your cultures.
Yeah.
And the history of the music that you're singing.
And singing together would be brilliant.
Would be, totally. Because music has no boundaries in terms of language.
Indeed. Exactly.
It's just the rhythm.
Well, there we are. It's happened on Salam Radio. We brought two communities together.
Excellent.
Thank you, Salam Radio.
Yeah.
Well, now, what else can we do in the remaining couple of minutes that we have left? Diwali, is it still possible for people to join in to see what's going on?
Yes, the mandir is open to everybody.
Okay.
And we have a number of events over the weekend. There's a puppet show on the Hanuman, the god with the monkey face. And we have more singing and dancing, feasting. So everybody is welcome to visit us over the weekend. Yeah. Diwali this year falls on the Sunday.
Okay.
So it's nice that it falls on a weekend.
More time to celebrate.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Should people book, or can they?
No, it's welcome. I mean, you don't have to book. You're just welcome to turn up.
Right.
And the festivities start early in the morning in our homes, and then we go to the temple through the afternoon and the evening. And Monday is the Annakut, which is the mountain of food, where everybody brings in sweetmeats and savouries, and then we have this huge mountain of food that we all enjoy at the end of it.
I remember seeing a television program about the food being brought and prepared and placed around the various shrines. And it is, as you describe it, a huge mountain of food. And you think, gosh, that's going to go to waste. But I imagine it does get eaten.
It does. The appetite for the ghee-laden sweets and savories are endless. And it's the festive time, so everybody doesn't mind indulging.
Right. So daytime on Sunday or the subsequent days?
Yes. Saturday evening,
Yep.
Saturday afternoon from 1 p.m. we have the puppet show and then chanting of some hymns as well in the evening. And then Sunday is the Diwali. And then Monday, I think, I'm not sure about the time. We have it all on our Facebook page, which is the Bharat Hindu Samaj Facebook page, and the website as well.
Well, we must carry a link. I mentioned the Facebook page for the Ken Stimpson work, but we must carry a link for you as well.
Oh, yes. The welcome, the mandir is open from between 9 and 12 and evenings between 5 and 8 every day. And it's open to everybody. So you're welcome. Everybody is welcome to please come and take a look at our deities. They're beautifully dressed. The atmosphere is really very peaceful and lovely. Please come and visit us.
Well, thank you very much. That's a great invitation. I do hope people will take you up on that and build the trust and the relationship that we have as citizens living in Peterborough.
Definitely.
A final word from Julie?
Can I just mention the dates again, just in case anybody missed them? Right, so it's the 15th of November, the Greatest Showman sing-along. Then it is the 13th of December, Elf, which is subtitled. And then the 7th of February will be Grease sing-along. And like I say, everybody's welcome. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Let's have a party.
Smashing. I remember when Grease first came out. Fantastic.
It's a movie that's stood the test of time.
So we're coming to the end of our show. So let me say a big thank you to Julie Blake, promoting the Ken Stimpson Community Cinema, Sing Along with Cinema.
Thank you for having us.
And of course, many thanks to Aparna Aravind telling us about Diwali and an open welcome invitation to visit the Hindu Mandir, the Hindu temple. And earlier we had Joe Hostead on the Sustainable Development Goals. Well, that's all we have time for tonight on Community Matters. Remember, you are the community that matters wherever you are, and we'd like everyone to be a community that lives in peace and harmony. And I have this little way of signing off, and I hope I'm trying to be inclusive of all communities when I say, from me, Adrian Holdstock, Salam, Shalom, Namaste, and the peace of God to you all. Good night.
You're listening to Salam Radio, and it's now time for Maghrib Azan. This Azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن